to give us update, but we can tell you battle over the control of two chambers of their parliament. That's the House of Representatives and the Senate, the Congress they call it. The Republicans appear to be heading towards control of the House of Representatives, so Speaker Pelosi may be shoved aside. But in the Senate, it's still too close to call. In 2 years' time, it tells us presidential election will go on, and Donald Trump tells us by the end of this week, he may tell Americans whether he will run again. But back home, a lot of things happening. The judiciary has been active. In Zamfara State, they nullified the PDP governorship primary. We told you yesterday on this program that parties have demonstrated perhaps unrepentant magnitude of non-adherence to lay down procedure in party primaries, but the judiciary appear to be dealing with them. And all parties are involved in this case. In Abuja, an FCT High Court has asked the Inspector General of Police to arrest EFCC Chairman Bauer and commit him to prison sentence for disobedience to court judgment. The Nigerian citizen got judgment against the EFCC in 2018. EFCC is in possession of his 40 million naira and jeep. And the court said despite repeated appeal, the FCC refused to release it, and so is contempt of court. EFCC chairman says they have appealed the situation. We'll dwell on that once to speak with a legal practitioner, Maxwell Wabara, to give us legal insights. My colleagues are here with me. We have a full house today. Izoje Momo is here, Teve Tiav is here, and Abulo Semoabu makes up our number.
Amici, good morning. Good morning, dear listener. It's a very interesting happening in the EFCC. One will wonder what happened in 2018 during Ibrahim Magu is surfacing now, and is putting slap on the face of Bauer. And Bauer receiving it with a very calm spirit, saying that they're going to appeal it. But appealing it is not what we are asking. Amici, 40 million naira since 2018. And a Range Rover Jeep. Is it too much for EFCC to have submitted these things? You see, government has pride, and this pride is what has put us in this level. They don't like respecting court orders, yet they want to force citizens to respect orders. Look at how the court has forced us to respect the court order and asked you to resume, and you still went further to give them half salary. These issues about court contempt is all over. If you check all over government circles, you see that they've not been respecting small issues with court, this ruling, and you expect citizens to do that. Away from that, a leader, a head of an organization carries the burden. It was during Magu time, and it's Bauer now, and he bears the brunt. That is why we advise head of agencies, be careful how you do your runnings. Be careful how you administer your work, because if it rebounces back, the corruption thing you are doing there, it's only you that will carry it. It's Bauer that is carrying the load of Magu. The mistake Magu did is Bauer that is carrying it.
Did you see the statement issued by the EFCC this morning, where they are explaining, yes, the judgment was in 2018. This is 2022. That's 4 years after. A judgment, Teve that said, do this, and he refused to do it yet. Abulu was right, it was during the tenure of Magu. But Bauer in that statement said, 3 months ago here, or 2 months ago, he ordered that the Range Rover be returned to the gentleman, and the process for return of the 40 million is on. And you wonder, like Abulu said, this is not just one case. There are several cases where judges may not even be brave enough to ask that those government officials involved be committed to prison. From what we know, as soon as the Inspector General of Police is served with that judgment, he should dispatch a team to pick up Magu and send him to Kuje. That is the right thing to be done.
But did you see the reaction of the police? They said they were not giving on your. They've not seen it. They
yes,
how can you say that?
No, they have to wait to be served. You have to. They can't work on speculation. Once the police has been served, it is incumbent on the Inspector General of Police to pick up Bauer and send him to Kuje or the nearest detention center if the court was not specific on that. Abulu was that there are several cases like that, but the judges may not be brave enough. Commendations to this judge who defied us and put the feet down and said justice must prevail. Bauer was not there when this issue happened. Then you talk about handover processes. Where is the position of the director of legal within EFCC? Did he advise the chairman appropriately on this? If he didn't do that, there should be internal administrative processes within EFCC where the management can deal with and punish public servants who fail to indeed carry out their appropriate functions and duties.
Amechi, good morning to you. Good morning, listener. This is the price we pay for long years of military rule. Recall several others. In fact, some point the military had to bring decrees to proscribe the powers of the certain courts, and all of that. And that eventually, was handed over to the civilian administration, especially under Olusegun Obasanjo, such that by 2007, the late Yaradua in his campaign was rule of law, we obey rule of law.
He said that was our problem.
That was our problem, So it's been a major challenge all along, I'm sure it is based on the fact that the tag of an ex-convict, perhaps maybe when the lawyer comes on, he will explain that further. But it's the office of the chairman of the EFCC, such that Amechi, you could have been the chairman there, and you will be the one to go to. So anybody that would have been chairman of EFCC, that would have affected the person. So obviously, it's that tag that the EFCC is trying to, by virtue of the appeal. If not, I wouldn't have expected them to appeal. What ordinarily, because in the judgment, the judge said, look, take him to Kuje until he purges. Yes. Until he purges himself of,
the content.
The content. So it's as good as, okay, you didn't release the jeep, you didn't release the money, just release it, and you are as free as but obviously that tag that will eventually, so when the lawyer comes up, and I mean, this is just at the national level. You need to go to the states to see the impunity,
reign of impunity.
By a commissioner will just they'll just bundle somebody and lock them up, and so that when the president was in Owerri, I was saying, look, his rule, military, be a political, please be a political, be not partisan, and all of that. I was just, okay, fine. It is at the state. In fact, the national, there's so much sanity at the national level compared to what is happening in the states. So much. And apart from even these orders, release and all of that, you need to look at the judgment depth in the Federal Ministry of Justice. Yes. It's huge.
If they violate your right, government, federal or state government, you go to court and you are awarded damages.
They are not paid.
Nobody will pay you.
So it's a major thing. Though we expect our democracy is evolving.
Yes.
Over time we'll get to some of these things. And we need to do much more.
Some activist judges have also challenged the judiciary to become activists. For you to respect court judicial pronouncement, it can include orders of judgment. The judiciary should be at the forefront, because if you don't respect it, it makes no sense of the judiciary. Many people have recommended that if the government, there's a judgment or ruling against the government and they refuse to obey, the judiciary should stop hearing cases from government. That has been mooted in the past. If, for instance, EFCC is asked to release the 40 million, they refuse. If they bring any corruption charge against anybody, you ignore it. So if you want impunity, if you want lawlessness, we'll help you put the society where it belongs. If that is the way, it is the only way to compel. Because government is all about legitimacy. If government refuses to obey an order of the judicial pronouncement, how do they expect citizens to also obey when it's against them?
And I mean, to think that this order or this judgment was in favor of a one-time director of Air Force Operation.
Yes,
a former director of Air Force Operation. You can imagine if it were against just an ordinary person.
And there are so many.
Imagine.
Good morning, Amici, and good morning to our listener. The issue on ground, I must say that it has taken too long, for the EFCC not to have taken action on the matter. If the court did not, give this particular order, that Bawa should be locked up, I'm sure that the matter will just be on ground. And if we can lay our hands on certain other cases, that maybe with the EFCC, I'm sure that there may be other cases like this that the EFCC may have been asked to return maybe assets following courts judgment.
Even the design issue.
So the issue that came up yesterday is just one out of several others that we may not be aware of. And like David said, this is someone who probably has the power to pay for the legal process, because ordinarily most of the ordinary Nigerians, like somebody like me, maybe I'll be able to try, but there are other people who may not be able to go the whole route, the payment of fees and all of those things to get to this point. Because from 2018 to now, Amechi, if you calculate how much that has gone down, especially on the part of this director, it's not small money. So that's one of the reasons why you see that sometimes people just leave cases, and at the end of the day, they throw it out because of lack of
that is what
judicial process.
That is what TV is trying to push at. You see, there are so many things happening in the states. That is why our prison is flooded with inmates. And if you hear what Aregbesola is saying, that somebody has told a petty thief is placed there awaiting trial, that's because he doesn't have the means. But we have the pro bono services, the legal aid that provide. Government will not allow these persons to access this legal aid council to accept pro bono services, and they'll leave ordinary Nigerians there. Luckily enough, this man has the resources to pursue this case or to follow this case to this level.
Well, maybe this will also spur others, who may have cases, to forge ahead, to try and ensure that they get, especially if it's in their favor, because most of the time, once these judgments are in favor of the EFCC, they are always quick. Like we mentioned, when it's in favor of government, they are very quick to enforce it. But once it's the other way around, we always have issues. I'm talking about the issue of the prisons. On Tuesday, we saw the federal government saying that they will be speaking with state governors to release about
30% of the prisoners.
That's roughly about, I think I heard about 12,000 thereabouts.
And we have about 75,000 prisoners. He said 70 of them are there due to state cases in the states. 70% of the 75,000 are there due to cases in the states. Then about 10% are federally related cases.
Well, what do you say is a welcome development now? Don't forget that the election is around the corner. Releasing people from the prison now, some persons will say, but
how many of those have been captured in the prison break? There was prison break in Edo State. There was prison break in Benin. There was Kuje prison break. Prison break in Owerri. How many have been recaptured?
As journalists, we hear people, what people say, and then some say it's a welcome development to decongest. Others are saying that why now?
You mention the speculation.
Who are? Go ahead.
No, it's on social media.
Yeah, what are they saying?
No, they are saying that why are you releasing people, just
close to
the election?
Are you afraid? Say it now.
So I bet you
I'm not the one saying it.
Which means the alert by the US and UK, we're not far from it.
Yesterday, when the Attorney General and Minister of Justice was before the Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters to defend his body, he said, as an achievement of his ministry, that they secured the release of 12,000 inmates from 2016 to date. And I asked, who put them in those prisons in the first place? That you are securing their release, and it's an achievement.
Well, we know that prisons are overflooded. There are those that have been in awaiting trial for upward of 5